Hello, church. So today is our devotional for Tuesday, January 8th. I was up in the mountains getting some stuff taken care of at the house and we're working with a contractor for some stair replacement. So sorry for not getting a devotional posted yesterday. We are in Psalm 89. And as I mentioned previously, this is a long psalm, so we'll be dividing it over several days. I do want to give a shout out to my parents, so Nick and Margie Pence, along with Andy and Sandy Kriebel, who celebrated their 65th, and Arlene and Carl Kraus, who celebrated their 60th on July 7th, celebrated their 55th wedding anniversary by going to Olive Garden, which I found hysterical. My mom said I should be proud that they got out at all. And then said, we could have gone to McDonald's. And at that point, I shut my mouth. But happy anniversary to my folks and many, many, many more. So we opened up Psalm 89 with the first 4 verses, just this kind of ascription of praise to God. Today, we're really going to be moving into the sense of creation, and then Mays is also going to mention God, God as warrior, which we've had in several psalms in conquering the powers of chaos, and so we'll get into some good stuff. He has several good sections on this particular the particular verses we're going to be looking at, which, if I remember right, are going to be running from the 5th verse through about the 18th. Reminder, we're also Psalm 89 marks the conclusion of our 3rd book, so we'll be stepping into book 4 when we get to 90, but that's a win because we got a lot of psalm to deal with. I also shared that I did the comment on the spoiler alert, because Mays entitles it The Rejection of the Messiah. We talked about the word Messiah and the Davidic line as kind of these people anointed and appointed for ruling of Israel as king. So here we go with verse 5. Let the heavens praise your wonders, O Lord, your faithfulness in the assembly of the holy ones. For who in the skies can be compared to the Lord? Who among the heavenly beings is like the Lord, a God feared in the council of the holy ones, great and awesome above all that are around him? O Lord God of hosts, who is as mighty as you, O Lord? Your faithfulness surrounds you. You rule the raging of the sea. When its waves rise, you still them. You crushed Rahab like a carcass. You scattered your enemies with your mighty arm. The heavens are yours, the earth also is yours. The world and all that is in it, you have founded them. The north and the south, you created them. Tabor and Hermon joyously praise your name. You have a mighty arm, strong is your hand, high your right hand. Righteousness and justice are the foundation of your throne. Steadfast love and faithfulness go before you. Happy are the people who know the festal shout, who walk, O Lord, in the light of your countenance. They exult in your name all day long and extol your righteousness, for you are the glory of their strength. By your favor, our horn is exalted, for our shield belongs to the Lord, our King, to the Holy One of Israel. I didn't specifically look at this in Mays, but they use that image of strong as your hand, high your right hand, which I imagine is that kind of cross-cultural symbol of you being declared the victor and taken in. Mays is going to comment on a couple of particular lines from verse 14, so let me go ahead and reiterate those. Righteousness and justice are the foundation of your throne. Steadfast love and faithfulness, hesed, go before you. And these he uplifts as the establishment and indicators of God's rule. All righty, a few sections. This is a little bit longer, so hang in there. You can pause the video if you need to go use the bathroom, get a beverage, or whatever you need to do. It is important to see the purpose of the particular way in which the psalm declares the faithfulness of the Lord. Since the humiliation of the anointed is the concern of the lament, which we have not got to yet, it would seem that the citation of the Lord's sworn covenant with David would be enough. Instead, there is a long section, verses 5 to 18, declaring that steadfast love is established forever. You confirm your faithfulness in the heavens. This section has three parts. The first part, verses 5 to 8, calls up the scene of the divine council assembled in heaven. There the Lord reigns as the incomparable God of hosts, surrounded by the holy ones and divine beings who praise his marvelous deed of faithfulness. In the intellectual world of the ancient Near East, the assembly of the high gods represented the ultimate location of authority and power. Israel used the notion to portray the Lord as God of gods, the ruler of the universe. So Paul's maze there for a minute. We have taught in other Psalms about this kind of mythic sense in the Near East of divine council with all the powers gathered together, and it is God who is actually reigning in those places. So don't so much, and I've mentioned before that confirming question of what does it mean there's other gods? Don't read too much into that, but understand that it's uplifting God as the one receiving praise and acknowledging leadership and responsibility for the whole cosmos. The second part, verses 9 to 14, rehearses the marvelous deed for which the Lord is acclaimed supreme in the divine council. The Lord is the ruler of the raging sea, the elemental chaos, because he crushed Rahab, and Rahab is the chaos dragon in the Near East mythic perspective, and a battle against the cosmic enemies of his kingship. The victory over chaos created the universe and established the Lord's universal kingship. In this rehearsal, the psalm is drawing on the scheme of the combat myth of creation that was widespread in the ancient Near East, the combat myth of creation. According to its plot, the deity who prevailed over the forces of chaos created or restored the world by his victory and established his right to rule as king among the gods. The myth is used to portray the Lord as the warrior God upon whose victory over his enemies the very existence of the world depends. Creation and kingship are inseparably connected. The second part concludes with an important theological declaration. The two pairs of attributes that characterize the Lord, righteousness, justice, and steadfast love, faithfulness, are represented as aspects of his kingship. The third part, verses 15 to 18, turns from the divine council in heaven to earth, and from the primeval past of creation to the present. Its focus is the congregation of the Lord's people who praise him because their human king, their strength and horn and shield, belongs to the Lord and receives glory and favor from him. The human king represents and mediates the glory and favor of heaven's rule to them. The praise of the congregation reflects and corresponds to the praise of the divine council, and a vital connection is made between the heavenly and the earthly king. Here's where things get a little tricky, and I think we've had I think this part of the conversation has come up before. So, general Old Testament reminder that what we first have established is God's covenant with Abraham. That ends as Vacation Bible School did in the book of Genesis, with Joseph coming into power in Egypt and welcoming all his people, the Hebrews, into Egypt, where eventually Joseph is forgotten and the people are enslaved by the Egyptians. So then comes a time of deliverance, and we have the leadership of Moses and Aaron, and then eventually Joshua establishing all the tribes in the places that they were called to go. What happens next is a period of judges, very often people who militaristically are reclaiming land or territory from the Philistines. You can add in the story of Samson there because that is part of Judges. The people, though, begin to ask for a king so they can be like other nations. They want a military and political leader in power. And then through the Davidic covenant, God promises the descendants of David to rule over Israel. Here's the catch: nobody is God. And a lot of the kings are going to make fiasco during their time of reign and rulership. Even in the midst of the Psalms, it's important for us to remember that it is God who we are responsible to. And it is only as far as our leadership and actions reflects that of God that we are to be uplifted as servants of God. Off the pulpit now. Okay. So here is Eugene Peterson's take on this portion of Psalm 89. God, let the cosmos praise your wonderful ways. The choir of holy angels sing anthems to your faithful ways. Search high and low, scan skies and land. You'll find nothing and no one quite like God. The holy angels are in awe before him. He looms immense and august over everyone around him. God of the angel armies, who is like you? Powerful and faithful from every angle. You put the arrogant ocean in its place and calm its waves when they turn unruly. You gave that old hag Egypt the back of your hand. You brushed off your enemies with a flick of your wrist. You own the cosmos. You made everything in it, everything from atom to archangel. You position the north and south poles. The mountains, Tabor and Hermon, sing duets to you. With your well-muscled arm and your grip of steel, nobody trifles with you. The right and justice are the roots of your rule. Love and truth are its fruits. Beloved are the people who know the passwords of praise, who shout on parade in the bright presence of God. Delighted, they dance all day long. They know who you are, what you do. They can't keep it quiet. Your vibrant beauty has gotten inside of us. You've been so good to us. We're walking on air. All we are and have, we owe to God, holy God of Israel, our King. Interesting bit for Peterson, which you might actually want to look at in comparison. So I would say that fairly clearly in the NRSV, the people are praising the king as a servant of God. It continues to uplift God as the emphasized king, a little more so in the message. Also, for me, one of the parts in reading it aloud, Peterson seems to have this rhythm and meter that he sometimes introduces, and it is really engaging, and it helps to pull that along. A few favorite lines. God of the angel armies, we have talked about before in connection with the Ark of the Covenant and the cherubim that have been around and God leading them. We also had you gave that old hag Egypt the back of your hand. You brushed off your enemies with a flick of your wrist. Good stuff, Eugene Peterson. God bless you and rest in peace. So this has been the longest one that I've done, but that was a lot from Maze as well as a lot of me talking. So, all right, we'll be back with you tomorrow for part 3, and we'll catch you later. Have a great day. Bye-bye.